robust urban garlic flavor.
Welcome home.
Hello everybody, Robust here. We have a very interesting development on Phil's day off. The notorious DSP copy-paste restreamer Raw Phil has been terminated by YouTube. Just mere days after DSP had a meltdown about somebody being in Raw Phil's chat, trying to recruit people to freeze Phil's chat. So, what is exactly going on here?
Like I said, my opinion is if you don't like someone, if you want to go back at them and start a feud and benefit from it, that's one way to go at it. The other way is to ignore them. I do not believe in attacking someone's livelihood. I do not believe in attacking someone's, business source of income, whatever you may say it is. I don't believe in that at all. And particularly, I don't believe in it if you're actually doing it with underhanded means. For example, let's say that the
Quarter pounder
actually felt like
some bums at the gas station
was slandering him or defaming him with the things that they were saying publicly on their show. Well, he has a legal right to take them to court for that. There's a court system in place just for this kind of thing. You get a lawyer, you lawyer up, you show what's been said, you say this is all defamatory or slander, whatever it is, because I don't know. It would also be international law because they broadcast from Canada and Kick is based in Canada, so you'd have to have a U.S.-Canada law thing. We have to figure it out. But that's the avenue that he could have taken. He could have said, let's legally go into this, and I feel like I've been, slighted, and this needs to be taken care of this way. If he decided not to do that, but instead, I'm going to go behind the scenes, and I'm going to pull this, real fast one on you. Like a sleight of hand almost, right? Like, I'm going to see that Andy's channel's unbanned, and I'm going to get it rebanned, and then as it's being rebanned, I'm then going to flag another channel that we all know isn't owned by Andy, but convince someone at YouTube that it is, and then say that it's ban evading when we know it's not. That's pretty dastardly. Alrighty then, how are you all? Let's get this music at the right level.
Yeah, that's how he starts right after coming off his break. You see how smug he is? He thinks he's going to be showered in views and money now that Raw Phil has been terminated. He just fundamentally does not understand that they weren't giving Raw Phil money because they like Phil.
I'm just basically trying to get caught up.
Oh, I'm not buying that for a second. He saw that one of his mods unbanned a bunch of people on Kick, and he spent part of his day off rebanning them. So to say that Phil's been offline and not paying attention when Raw Phil has been trending on Twitter, I don't buy it.
And I feel like I'm way behind. What a week it was already last week, and now going into this new one. Incredibly crazy stuff. I'm doing well. So I hope that reciprocates, right?
What does that even mean? You just say, I'm doing well and I hope you are doing well too. Or maybe he thinks because he's doing well, people will throw money at him. Because that's what his idea of reciprocity is.
Or if you're not in a good mood, hopefully this show will put you in good spirits, all right?
Yeah, that's all the Raw Phil viewers that went from YouTube to Kick.
June a little bit on the slower side. My shirts don't match. Good. That's why I wore it like that, because I could annoy you. That's exactly why I did it, so that people would say that in the chat. So there you go.
Yeah, his life mission right now is just to annoy as many people as possible because he thinks everybody in the chat is against him and are just being extremely nitpicky to a point that's unacceptable for him.
It wasn't a very relaxing day whatsoever. I'm going to tell you all about it. It was kind of very annoying.
Oh, wow. You had to do errands or something? Aw, shucks. Too bad. The Pokemon cards didn't come in on time? No way. You were on hold with YouTube support for 3 hours? Wow.
Last 2 weeks have been so chaotic with the chat freezing constantly on YouTube and not being able to really interact and have good streams with you guys because of that. And then we got that solved.
Why does he look so nervous and finicky right now? That's a little suspicious.
On the Kick side, we have so many people talking and the chat is scrolling so fast, there's no way I could even read out any of your names. Okay? So
that means you have a successful stream, you dunce, if there's a ton of people interacting and engaging with the content. I know that may be a shock to you, but that's actually how streamers who are successful operate. And you're also a lot slower about reading chat than they are. And he absolutely knows why the Kick chat is in a frenzy right now.
Seriously. Thank you for being here. We have great attendance on YouTube. I'm assuming we have great attendance on Kick. Let me take a look. I'm just curious.
Don't be used to it. Once you get done talking about Raw Phil, if you do, they will leave. You'll get a small bump, maybe like 5 to 10% extra viewership, but you won't have the numbers that Raw Phil had because they were there to trash you in the chat, and obviously you can't do that in your chat.
Whoa, well, yeah, I'd say we have pretty good attendance on Kick. Holy moly.
There was also a mass unban on Kick, so, you know, they were notified that they've been unbanned, so they're like, we're going to go back and troll. And he's going to think that this is the new normal, where the reality is this will peter out within a week. But notice how he hasn't told us the numbers when he usually tells us the numbers. So he's probably thinking they're less than he expected.
I'm not surprised with everything that's been going on. All right.
Wow, what a shock. Terminally online Phil is aware that Raw Phil was banned. Now the question, did Phil play a part in it? Did he finally remove the humongous pus-oozing boil on his back that he should have got checked out years ago when it was just a tiny blemish?
So you know what they say? They say when it rains, it pours.
You could also say, when you procrastinate, things snowball and cause disaster. Phil, you pretty much essentially opened a Pandora's box by just neglecting this Raw Phil thing and letting it grow out of your control. Now you got a hornet's nest to deal with.
And it seems like this last week has just been wildly insane with all of the stuff going on. Obviously, I'm going to try to get you all caught up from my perspective on it this morning.
Yeah, who would have thought that a nobody troll finding a random exploit in the YouTube chat would lead to DSP doing something about Raw Phil? Because, you know, in his mind, he thinks this is all coordinated when it was just random circumstance.
I'm going to try not to make this a long podcast because I know people want to see me play a lot of Resynced today.
Really? No, you don't want a long podcast because you're thinking, oh, a ton of people are going to watch this video, so I'll go a little shorter this time. When the reality is, it'll take you like 20 minutes to get to the actual point and people would have already clicked off by now. Like, it's so obvious.
I guess the question is...
And you see this guy is back using his second main account because King Furbs unbanned him. It's like, you should know, unban everybody except this guy. It's like empty Arkham Asylum, but leave the Joker in there. Furbs really did Phil a favor right here because Phil's gonna get a whole bunch more money when we all know it's him, even though we always know it's him anyway.
Man, we got so much going on. This is nuts. 2,000 kicks from 220. Do I count them? This guy, he doesn't seem to get the hint. How many times did I ban him and tell him no, stop? And then he comes back and he keeps freaking contributing. But it's $20. It's like, do we count it? I mean, I guess we do.
Phil, 220 is basically an executive producer of your streams. He keeps the pipes flowing, so to speak. Without him, your kick revenue would be in the toilet, because we all know he has a ton of stock accounts and he's giving you money that way. Come on, that's what all your whales do. Just be glad you have a guy that won't take a hint and is just throwing money at you for probably the dumbest reasons possible.
For the record, for as much of a mental guy this guy is, all right, he's never actually charged back anything or attempted to charge back anything. His contributions stick. So I guess if his money is good, but if he you know, acts a fool, I guess we're going to get rid of him again. And yeah, by the way, 220, you're unbanned, but not of my choice. I got to talk all about this, okay? Because right now, if you're sitting in Kick Chat, you might be like, what in the holy is going on? Why is Kick Chat flying at 100 miles an hour? I'm going to explain. It's not of my doing, nor do I really want to sit there and try to, like, fix it because it's too messy. All right? So how about this? We'll count it, but 220, you better freaking behave, dude.
Oh, he'll behave for like 220 seconds, and then you know what will happen. It's the same dog chasing its tail that we've all seen before. The cycle continues endlessly.
Because I swear to God, the moment that you start acting up, you're grass. I'm just not putting up with your misbehavior because you just don't know how to act like a normal human. Seriously.
Yep, and he's still gonna shower him with tons of money. We all know who the clown is dancing for who.
Zangief, name that I'm not gonna say, gifted 5 subs. So there you go.
And I'm sure you're thinking it's the same person that I do. Hey, maybe 220 will make this all about himself and prevent Phil from actually getting to the point.
There's no way I'm putting that name on my leaderboard. Phil's getting a lot of support. What's happening? I'm going to explain. Okay?
Yeah, he's being gaslit by 220 into thinking that this support train will continue forever, when it will dry up within 3 days. These aren't people from Raw Phil coming in and giving Phil money. It's his regulars. They think Phil got a big W by procrastinating for 3 years and not dealing with the Raw Phil channel. When the reality is, after this dies down, there'll be no opposition. There'll be no restream to point at and say, hey, this guy's stealing from me. So then they're going to become demotivated and not give him as much money, and then he's going to whine and cry about it. And then the cycle repeats.
The Luke Swanson did a $2 super chat. Thank you, Luke. I mean, what a crazy start. I get the feeling we're going to be opening a lot of packs of Pokemon cards today.
Who would have guessed drama sells, and you know Phil is diving headfirst into that drama sludge.
The Luke Swanson with another $2 super chat talking about Jeremy Hambley. I don't know anything about Jeremy Hambley, and I don't care. Thanks for $2.
Come on, Phil. You got the whole Pokegrift idea from him. How could you not remember anything? Are you doing too many gin shots at night?
I mean, at this rate, maybe we're going to finish the Pokemon cards today at this momentum we have right now. I guess we'll see.
Yeah, he thinks it's going to be like this for the entire stream. Basically, they are congratulating Phil for unclogging his toilet. Remember that? Last year, he bragged about fixing his toilet after it being broke for like a decade.
For those who don't know, I open Pokemon cards in tandem for support. So like every...
Oh my 220. He thinks there's a ton of people that are new here because the viewership is up. No, it's the same old people in the Snortex. He thinks this is another Asmongold bump.
We're almost to our second pack of cards at 150. We're $10 away from a second pack of cards. This is nuts. Any actual attention for it until he started doing it to me?
Because you make a big deal out of everything. And you were also small enough where that exploit worked because with bigger streamers, they could just spam and unlock the chat.
And it had nothing to do with me. It's because I have insane amounts of detractors who stalk me and A-log me and follow my every move.
Because he doesn't understand that he's ironically entertaining. And that people see him as a scammer because for years he lied about playing WWE Champions, spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on that game while claiming that he needed money for groceries. Which he probably did because he was spending all of it on Champions. Not to mention the perpetual e-begging, where every stream he tells you like 50 to 100 times how much he needs the money, or begging for money or something else like that, complaining about the game, complaining that it's slow, you know.
So if anything ever happens on one of my streams, they turn that into content for themselves.
If anything happens on my stream, Phil, something always happens on your stream because you have the camera on. Now here we go. The scammer is going to be like, woe is me. What did I do wrong?
So the fact that someone was coming into my streams and freezing my chats was actually making people get content, if that makes sense.
Phil, are you kidding me? Duty uploads like 6 clips of you a day. Your chat doesn't have to freeze to find something to talk about because you're so long-winded and you talk about your detractors all the time and you beg for money. It's as simple as that. Yeah, in his head, he thinks this was all coordinated against him. He is just so ridiculous.
So this guy was basically getting kind of third-party attention because no one knew who he was, but people were happy to be like, yeah, someone's freezing Phil's chat. Now we can make videos about it. Right?
Well, the videos were about how you responded to it, Phil. If you had handled it in a non-Phil manner, then yeah, nobody would have really paid that much attention to it, but you freaked out about it, and that's what causes the attention to come to you. You don't understand that you are a walking circus.
So it was hurting me, myself and my business really, really badly. The big thing that was the downfall of this guy, this Bucketeer guy freezing chats.
What downfall? As of this video, the guy is still on YouTube.
He couldn't keep his mouth shut. He was so braggadocious about doing it that he was going to detractor restream chats and other places like forums and discords, and he was bragging all about it. And because he was bragging, he gave all the information out about it, of how he was doing it and all of that. And so people gave me this information. They said, Phil, here it is. This guy's an idiot. He's just talking about it publicly. So I tweeted, well, I guess you could call it a tweet, but I sent a message on X publicly to Team YouTube saying, listen, I need help with this. I can't fix it myself. I need you guys to look into it. And at first they blew me off. You're going to screw my business over if this isn't looked into seriously. So they waited like 24 hours. And after 24 hours, I tweeted them again. And I was like, so this is day 2 of me trying to get the attention of Team YouTube. They blew me off yesterday. This isn't right. And, you know, my chat deserves to move. This is messed up.
Phil, you actually got really lucky. There have been channels that got flagged by the AI algorithm for using reused content. And they haven't been able to get into contact with Team YouTube.
All of a sudden, They took me seriously. So I sent them literally all of the info. I sent them the info on every, like I said, I had the Discord of this guy. I had the restreamer chats log to show this guy was talking in a restreamer stream and this and that. And I just sent all the info to YouTube. Okay? And then if you remember what happened was, as of Tuesday, it was Monday or Tuesday, I think it was Monday night, they fixed it. YouTube literally said, thank you so much for reporting all of this. We looked into it. We found the technical issue. We've closed it. Your chat is fine. You can turn off sub-only mode. This is really nice of you that you told us about this because, yeah, this could have been a bad issue, so thank you. Now, that's where the story ends for now. I got shout-outs to do.
So he's just going to look over the fact that Raw Phil, who he's called his biggest thief, was banned off of YouTube. That's interesting. I would have thought Phil would have gloated about it. So what most likely happened is that when Phil got into contact with Team YouTube or whomever, that he mentioned, hey, this is a restreamer. He's violating TOS by copying and pasting my content, and I want him gone. Which Phil absolutely had the right to do because Raw Phil was not transformative content. It was copy and paste, bootleg DSP. Now, what Phil doesn't realize, because he dragged his feet for so long and did nothing about Raw Phil gained enough momentum, or whatever you want to call it, on this platform that he was at a point where he was having triple to quadruple the viewership of Phil. And now all those people are scattered off into the wind. And they're not happy about that. And they're not going to come back to DSP's chat because DSP probably banned them already. This is just like a textbook example of why you don't procrastinate, because it will bite you in the butt eventually. He may be living it up now because his fans are showering with money, but it's like you have no idea what's going to happen because people were so accustomed to going to this restream for years and they had that taken away from them. Are they going to be happy? No, they're probably going to go and troll Phil. And I'll just say this, don't troll Phil. He'll find a way to put his foot in his mouth eventually. There's like 10 trillion other restreams of DSP out there. And the thing is, Phil never learned from this and say like, hey, maybe I should make my own restream, but people don't know it's my restream. And it's just the same thing Raw Phil did, but they'll come in and watch. I'll get ad revenue from that. People may give me money through super chats or subs. And I'll finally find a way to monetize my detractors, which I've been struggling to do for years. Because I don't think Phil fundamentally understands that there were people on Raw Phil, believe it or not, that were watching the entire live stream, day in, day out. What are they going to do now when they don't have their chat to participate? They're not going to come back to you. They're not going to shower you with money. Are you kidding me? No. So basically, Raw Phil became so huge that it became problematic.
I bet Boogie did crack an egg over his head on his own stream, knowing that guy. And Gromit Mug, thank you for $2.
That would probably be the most minimal thing he's ever done on a live stream of lolcow live. Let's be real. Phil thinks it's some like humiliating, debasing thing because, you know, that's Phil. But begging for money is A-okay because he gets rewarded for it.
We're now at 170 of support, on our way to 200. When we hit 200, that's a third pack of cards we'll be opening. Hunter with a $2 super chat. He says, when will we get to gameplay? When the podcast is over, and I'm trying to make the podcast short. I don't want the podcast to do super duper, you know, I don't want to have it be long, okay?
Well, the best of plans sometimes get unraveled.
Yesterday is my day off, okay? Yesterday for me was a very stressful day. Why?
A rogue mod did something Phil didn't want. He set the jail loose.
Because yesterday I had to be up at 6 in the morning on my day off because I had a ton of appointments lined up.
Phil, screw you. You make your own schedule. You can choose to take however many days off you want.
You know, multiple things. And it just sucked because instead of it being a nice relaxing day where I can spend time with my wife and just be at home or maybe go out and do stuff, it was drive here and do this, drive here and do this, drive here and do this, then do this, then do this. And it was frustrating because I was so tired.
That he has to do something that a regular person does every day. He had responsibilities to take care of. Yeah, this guy was so tired that he was in his kick chat rebanning everybody Emperor Furbs release. Sounds like a guy who was absolutely exhausted, right?
You know, getting up like ultra early and then have to move all day. It's not like I got up and I was at home. I got up and I had to move around all day long. It sucked. Okay, just to be honest with you. It was not a good day in that capacity.
Yeah, because nobody was giving him money to do those tasks. He's accustomed to getting money for doing simple things. Nobody clapped their hands for him when he did the objective of parking in the supermarket.
And then once the errands were done, which is around middle of the day, I was exhausted. I was just so exhausted, okay? Anyway.
Once again, here is how he starts out. Pity me, I'm the victim, I did nothing wrong. You should feel sympathetic for me. You should give me money.
So here's what happens during my day off, and I start getting messages in my email, and I got a tweet, and it's like, Phil, alert, alert. One of your moderators has gone detractor.
Well, here's the thing. Eventually, everybody becomes a detractor, and when they become a detractor, they don't come back. Yeah, all those terminally online people have nothing better to do than to stare at DSP's inactive kick chat or Twitter reels.
One of your moderators has gone off the deep end. They are unbanning everyone on Kick en masse. Phil, you must take it. What is going on? And I was, huh? Now, I'm not home. Okay, I'm not on my computer where I can easily look everything up and figure this shit out. So I'm like, what's going on? So I jump into my Kick chat on the stupid app on my phone, okay, which is awful for the record.
So I guess Phil was playing whack-a-mole for like 4 hours, rebanning all the people King Furbs set free.
The Kick app, if you can avoid it and you can use even just log in like via a desktop browser version on your phone, do that. The Kick app is not good, all right? I log into Kick and I see King Furbs is literally mass unbanning everyone on Kick. He hasn't said a word to me. I have no idea what's going on. Obviously, the guy must be unhinged. He knows, right? And to be honest, I don't care. I'm out on my day off. I'm incredibly stressed already as it is. I'm dealing with in-life, real life. I don't care about this internet drama. I just don't give a f.
Phil, you're claiming to not care, yet you hurried on your phone to the Kick chat when you could have just waited to go home and see what happened. Like, they told you he was unbanning people. Yeah, you're gonna have to reban those people, so you might as well just wait. You're not live. And the reality is, there are probably a ton of sock accounts, so he's probably letting free, like, maybe 100 people.
But why is this guy acting like this? I don't care. So did I reach out to King Furbs and say, hey, are you okay? No, f*** him.
Wow, Phil, I thought you had a close personal relationship with your mods. What happened, man? Phil, you could have just been lounging on your couch having a nice, easy day. You would have banned him immediately anyway. You would have never reached out. Come on. You didn't reach out to Darziak after you ditched him for Lummox.
I unmodded him. I banned him. I had enough of his... I don't know what the problem is.
Apparently, the issue was that Phil claimed his wife had cancer to PPP, and Furbs was ticked off that he was lying about that. Honestly, I don't remember the story if that's 100% accurate or not. I know he claimed to PPP that his wife was sick, but I don't remember if it was a specific illness or not.
And I tried to reban a few of the accounts, but I mean, I'm sitting in a waiting room on my phone, right?
Where do you have waiting rooms? Typically dentists and doctors' offices.
I can't do it. So I think I might have banned like another 10 out of the 100, 200 people that got unbanned. And that was about it. That's about all I got done. I was like, this is going to suck because you know what's going to happen is the floodgates are going to open. When I stream, all these people are going to be back.
So what? Just reban them. It's not like you haven't banned people 50 times over anyway.
And I'm not going to be able to moderate it myself right away. Hopefully we'll get a couple people to come help moderate on Kick, when I come back. But I know what's going to happen is Kick chat is going to be absolutely insane because he went in, he unbanned all these people. So that's literally all I did at first in the morning. That was it, okay? I'm having my day. I'm busy, like I said, much later in the day. Much later in the day. Probably early evening. Finally, I'm coming home. And I'm sitting down, and I'm like, okay, now maybe I can figure out what was wrong with this guy. Why did he do this? Like, there must have been a reason why King Furbs would have done that on the day off, right?
Because he probably thought that you would have been away from your computer and doing something else so he could slide under the radar and unban as many people as possible before you banned him. But we know you probably had your phone set up to notify you if something was happening on your Kick chat. Let's be real.
I got a million emails. I got DMs out. I'm like, what happened today? And why is it always on my day off? I've said this a million times. Whenever I'm not here, that's when everything happens. It's never when I'm here. Nothing happens live. It's always when I'm busy. And I can't handle anything because I'm not here, right? So come to find out, while I had my day off and was completely unplugged from anything going on the internet, my major illegal restreamer who goes by Raw Phil apparently got terminated on YouTube. Boom. So the entire internet's going crazy about this. They're angry, they're upset, they're shocked, they're happy. It's like everyone has a different reaction to it. Okay? So, for the record, I'm going to say this right up front. No, I have no direct involvement with any of this whatsoever. I have nothing to do with it. That doesn't mean that possibly things that happened earlier in the week did not roll into this.
So let me get this straight. You're saying that you didn't directly tell YouTube to terminate Rawphil's channel, but you brought up, hey, Rawphil is a restreamer of me using all my content while I'm live, rebroadcasting it word for word. So you're saying that was just a happy accident for you?
Myself. So DSP tries it Memology 101. Is this your main channel?
That is
okay,
not me.
that's not your main channel. Okay, let's scroll down. How about Raw Phil? Is that your main channel?
Nope, he's my number one thief.
Because, just so you know, several people have contacted me claiming they've been mass reporting Raw Phil.
And that's also a plausible explanation because Phil was crashing out over it one night this week and claiming that Raw Phil was harboring criminals in his chat. So it's very possible Phil's fans being frustrated went off of DSP's queue and started to mass flag Raw Phil. Now the question is, what did they mass flag him for? Did they mass flag him for reused content, or did they mass flag him for something related to the chat freeze?
Now, I don't know if they're telling the truth or not, or if they're making it up. I don't even know who these people are.
Whoa, 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 whoa. So you're just talking to any random person in your Twitter now? I thought you were more selective than that.
But they've been DMing me being like, hey, just so you know, I reported this guy because I've had enough after what happened with your chat freezing, and this is enough of this guy. So I don't know if that's what resulted in him getting banned or not.
So they didn't blame Bucketeer, the guy actively freezing Phil's chat. Instead, they mass report where he went to?
I don't know if it was actually when I talked to YouTube about this Bucketeer guy earlier in the week, because I gave them all the information. I gave them all his information, his YouTube channel. I gave them the Raw Phil chat. I said, this is from this channel. This is my restreamer. This is the chat where the guy was talking, admitting publicly that he was freezing my chat. I gave them all that info. So YouTube already had that info from earlier in the week. Maybe that's how this all came to be. I don't know.
So Phil, riddle me this. Why is the chat freezer Bucketeer still have an active account on YouTube while Raw Phil does not? Because Raw Phil was also making YouTube money. Bucketeer was costing them money.
Or maybe when all the Bucketeer stuff was going on, people really did mass report the Raw Phil channel. They just had enough. I don't know. Once again, here we are. There's a storm of stuff going on around me. Okay. But it's not me. You know what I'm saying?
Phil, you're a known liar. We don't trust anything you say. I mean, if they did mass flag Raw Phil, you encouraged them. That may have not been the intent, but you encouraged them by basically putting all the blame on Raw Phil instead of Bucketeer. You were the one who connected the dots. My only thought would be like maybe the Dents thought, hey, if we get rid of Raw Phil, then Bucketeer won't have a chat to go to recruit people.
It's never me.
Yup. Phil did everything correct. He did nothing wrong. He is not responsible for anything. Like, you're gonna convince us that you didn't complain to YouTube about Raw Phil being a huge problem for you? Come on. There's no way that you didn't complain about Raw Phil in some capacity. Now, it is certainly possible you didn't talk about anything about dealing with the channel, but I'm sure it's more likely that you said, hey, is there anything you can do about this channel that's stealing views from me? Because that has been the one thing that you've been harping on for years about how the detractors ruined your content. I'm sure once you had someone from YouTube's ear, you were totally telling them about your life story and about how that there's this Snortex around you, disrupting all your positive meaningfulness. Because that's what you do on your streams all the time.
It's always around my existence. Me just simply sitting here broadcasting somehow creates a giant vortex of hurricane drama, but I'm not involved in it.
What are you talking about? You are the instigator. You are totally involved with it. You spur everything on despite you not intentionally meaning that. Like, come on, you definitely had your sights on Raw Phil. The chat freeze was just a convenient excuse. Apparently, you whining about them stealing your content for years was not enough for your chat to be a call to action, but the chat freeze evidently turned into one. It's very possible that instead of just handling it by yourself, you just encourage people behind the scenes to start mass flagging Phil. And I'm sure if you actually did get YouTube to terminate Raw Phil's channel, You were probably prepared to gloat about it, but you saw all the pushback online and you're like, yeah, I'm gonna push this to the side, disavow it, because you may have bitten off more than you can chew. You were like one of 5 people on YouTube where people have a bigger issue about you trying to prevent people from bootlegging your content word for word.
I literally didn't do it. I'm just living my life, man. Okay?
In Phil's mind, if he was not the one at YouTube who pressed terminate, he didn't do it. Phil, even if you didn't advocate this to YouTube or encouraged it, you're going to be blamed for it anyway. So you might as well just say, hey, I just took control of my content. If you want to make transformative works with me, that's fine. But if you just want to bootleg my stuff word for word, I'm not having it. But by going about it the way you did, by having that meltdown about Bucketeer and then blaming Raw Phil for it, it certainly makes people like 10 times more mad than if you just quietly got in touch with YouTube and dealt with your restreaming problem. Because yes, Raw Phil was definitely violating terms of service. You can't just like live stream FIFA without their permission and make a ton of money off of it. The same thing applies to lolcow Phil, even though it's not as significant. Like, I've heard the argument that, oh, since he puts the chats on the screen, it's a transformative work. No, it isn't. Not if you're monetizing it by allowing memberships and gifted super chats, doing it day in, day out. It only really is transformative if you do it as like this one bizarre street performance thing. It was a direct competitor to DSP's live streams. And yes, it wasn't courting the same audience, but it was taking a small portion of DSP's viewership away from him. Whereas if you have someone like Tevin, for instance, who is also restreaming him, but he's pausing the stream, he's commenting on the stream, he's fast forwarding through the stream. It's not, here's Phil's show, go watch it for free.
So again, don't know the core reason of how this happened, but I got people reaching out to me who I never even expected would reach out to me. And some of them are like, this is bad. Some of them are like, this is really good. And
the thing is, I could see the fallout from this happening in 2 ways. One, nothing really affects Phil's stream, which is pretty much what usually happens. 2, I feel like the trolls could be really salty that Raw Phil's chat got shut down and Phil gets relentlessly trolled. Now, I don't want Phil to be trolled, or at least I don't condone it, but Phil put this on himself by letting Raw Phil grow to the state that it was, that it became an entity of its own. And by that point, once you pop that pimple, all that pus is going all over the place. So I don't think Phil realizes how much he could have potentially hurt his business prospects by just spreading everything into the wind.
Here's my opinion, okay? Here's the absolute truth. I don't care.
Phil, you were certainly caring a couple days ago when your chat was freezing and you were yelling at Raw Phil for causing it, saying that it was his responsibility to police his chat and make sure the Bucketeer guy wasn't recruiting people.
I just want to stream and make my own content and be left the alone. And people won't leave me alone. If you would just leave me alone, then probably you'd also be left alone.
So what he's saying here is that Raw Phil did not leave him alone. So what he's saying is, you do harm to me, I will do harm to you. So by his logic, Raw Phil wasn't doing harm to him when he was restreaming him. But now the chat freeze, he's doing harm to me, he needs to go away. Yeah, I'm of the opinion that Phil went to YouTube once he had the chat exploit freeze. When he got into contact, he's like, yeah, this guy is stealing business from me. He's taking my viewership. He is copying, pasting my content, restreaming me live while I am live, and he needs to be gone. And like I've said before, there was absolutely nothing that Raw Phil did that was transformative. Phil was 100% in the right to get Raw Phil's channel stricken down if he wanted to. But Phil doesn't realize that whatever he's doing here is just worse than saying, look guys, you can't restream me from start to finish at the same time and not do anything different.
Did you ever think about that? Like, if you just stopped me, maybe you'd be okay too.
Yeah, because Phil had no clue how to get into chat with somebody from YouTube until an issue presented itself to him. Like, he is heavily implying that he did it. And honestly, I agree with him. He definitely has the right to do it if he wanted to do it. But you see here, he's weaseling his way out of it. He's not taking responsibility for it. He's not taking the responsibility of, hey, this is my content, you can't steal from me. Because he's terrified of retaliation.
But all this came about because some moron starts freezing my stream chat. Why did you me?
So hundreds of people pay that weren't involved with this whatsoever because of one person. And that person that messes with you is still on YouTube? Make it make sense, Phil. That seems kind of strange.
So obviously I need to work. right? I need to be able to make content.
Phil, you were still making content. If you wanted to diversify a little more, you could multi-stream on different platforms too. But in your mind, you have to police all your chats, so you can't do that because you'd be running back and forth frantically trying to police everybody instead of doing entertainment.
So I can't do the content if you're freezing my stream chat. I'm going to have to try to find a means to fix it. So if anything happens as a result, I mean, why did you start with me? You know, I just leave me alone. Just let me sit here and make my content in my little corner of the internet with my positive audience and stop with us, right? That's all you got to do. It's not like rocket science.
I wonder if Phil thinks these videos are messing with him. So basically, Phil's saying if something happens, he's just going to fire randomly. And anybody hitting the crosshairs is hitting the crosshairs.
All these people are reaching out, and now it makes sense, okay? Now I'm realizing this is why King Furbs must have actually jumped off the deep end during the day, because I've heard people contact me and tell me everything, even though I don't ask for the information. They're telling me, hey, did you know King Furbs has been seen in this Raw Phil guy's chat and he's talking to you constantly? And I'm like, I've heard this about 1 million people that like me, don't like me, my moderators, my supporters. I don't care. Just leave me alone.
Says the guy who threw a hissy fit, complete 220 meltdown when Iron Den Sakai went into Strangely Lex's chat and started mocking him. Phil definitely cared then.
Really, I just want to live my life and stream. Just leave me alone, right? So I think that's what it is he was constantly over there or whatever. He liked hanging out over there. And the fact that the stream essentially got shut down, or the channel got shut down off King Furbs, so he decides I'm just going to Phil's chat now and I'm going to unban everybody. All right? So King Furbs is gone, for the record. All right? No, I have not rebanned all the accounts. I could have. It probably would have taken me like an hour. I don't care that much. If I see people who are misbehaving in the kick chat, I'm just going to ban them. And the moderators have permission. I know that Be More Righteous is there and anyone else. You can get rid of them. And I get paid for kick chat. So I don't really care. See, this one, insulting my wife, that's not allowed, and now you're banned. Do you see the difference? If you say I have a melty face, that's okay. But if you insult a family member, you're done. Okay?
Darn, I really wanted to insult Jasper Kitty.
So did you do it? And how is this going to... And I'm like, I have nothing to do with any of this. Really, nothing. Zero. Just leave me alone. Leave me alone. I don't do anything. I didn't do anything.
And there's Phil. He claims he didn't do it. You know, the truth will be revealed eventually, probably out of Phil's own mouth. So what do you think? How did Raw Phil get terminated? Let me know in the comments. Be sure to like and subscribe to show Phil the power of edited content. This is Robust, turning off the station.
That the detractors would stop making videos about you?
No, because it's their right. It is their right within the law to make a transformative work about me.
Sure.
And to criticize me or to make fun of me. That's fine.
Yeah.
What I don't want, and what is illegal and should stop immediately, is people who are live restreaming me right now, because they're not adding anything. They're literally illegally stealing the content and making views and money on it. People who rip my raw and just put it up illegally. That has to stop.